Good Sunday evening, everybody. Hope everybody had a great week, and hope you're all having a great weekend. Let's see who we got in here. We got Lisa in here. Hi, Lisa. Of course, we got Daryl in here. How you doing, Cajun? How you guys doing this evening? Second Chance Mower. How you doing? Thank you for stopping in, Missy. Thank you, Missy, for stopping in and seeing me. We got John in here. How you doing, John? Uh, East Coast Ken. How you doing? Thank you for stopping in. And Ken, that car, your Mazda, looking mint, brother, looking mint. She's gonna be beautiful when you get that final paint job on her. So yeah. Hey, if y'all notice, I got me a new hat. Amazing what $40,000 will do. Not me personally, y'all. My work bought a used one. They they, cut, they came off 3 hats.
It's kind of about time, Ray. You need to change the oil and the other one or something.
Well, no, I have my Napa hat. That's my live stream hat. I mean, I still like my Napa boys. You know, they treat me well. You know, but figure I might do a little advertising for the cat guys. Hey, Josh, how you doing? Thank you for stopping in. There's Ben. How you doing, Ben? Thank you for stopping in. But yeah, we got it 2 weeks ago. I think we took delivery of it, and they went to use it this past weekend and or this past week, and we're already having an issue with the automatic coupler for the bucket and stuff. So, hey, see Monster, how you doing? Seen Twisted come in. How you doing, Twisted? Yeah, in Cat's defense and our dealer's defense, they are getting us new hats. The dealer stopped by Friday to look at the issue we're having with it, and these are the only hats he had on in his truck. But he said he will get us some more. I told him I want one of the classic ones, like the Snowman wore and Smoking the Bandit. You know, the classic trucker with a patch. And they still have them. We were at the dealership and they had a whole stack of them sitting there. And he's like, most people don't want them. They want these new ones. I'm like, dude, I'm old school. I'm all about Smoking the Bandit. So you know, get me a Snowman hat. He's like, will do. He said, we might even get you a couple of them. Patrick Hattrick, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in. I think it wasn't a Honda. I think it was a Mazda or something like that. If you guys see my little short video on Instagram, I don't know if it was on Facebook too or in Instagram. Thursday or Friday on my way home from work. On my way home there's a bunch of stoplights and I pulled up and some couple kids in this little blue car were kind of like bumping forward like they're fast and furious, and furious, and I'm like, whatever, and he shot out of there like a bat out of hell off the green light, so I just tromped on it. He was out. I mean, it's a 20-year-old shitbox 4-wheel drive with a 5.3, it's got almost 200,000 miles on it. They were out on me. He missed second gear. I heard it go. Old man blew right by him. So
we got Delisa's nephew's husband. He drives a daggum order. He got one of them Subaru thing. I mean, WRX Subaru a hatchback, and he drives that thing like it's automatic, but he's got to downshift it every time he comes down the road here.
Well, this thing had the little fart box exhaust on it. It makes it sound like they're farting and all that kind of stuff. And
and Lisa's sister's son over here, his exhaust sounds like when he comes down the hill here. It sounds like Jeff 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 Dunham's that are I'm gay. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, it was just funny, because I mean, it's all rusted out. The exhaust is loud on it because it's actually rusted off right in front of the muffler, and I haven't fixed it yet because it's a shit box. The tools and shit I carry in it's worth more than the truck is. So, but yeah, I just couldn't resist when he was bumping forward like that, like thinking he was fast and furious, and he shot out of there, and I'm like, what the hell? We're gonna tromp on the gas. Hey, Grass Cutter Palmer, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in.
You were talking about your cat hat, and, how y'all bought something and they hooked y'all up. When I was a superintendent over in Tucson, Arizona, we used to uh, get a lot of rentals from, I think it was Sunshine Rentals. And their main office was originally out of Denver, Colorado. And the salesman, they had moved a branch out to Tucson. And the salesman that came out, he actually delivered one of the sky lifts, man lifts for us, so the window guys could put windows in. And theirs had broke down, so we rented one for them, and of course, take it off the bill. So the salesman, Troy, he had says, "Boo, that's all you wear is that little light jacket?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's all I need. I have a Winchester, Winchester Arms jacket, a fleece wool line, something light." I said, "That's about all I need over here." He says, "This your first winter here?" I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "Well, it can surprise you." So I'm like, "All right." He says, "Well, yeah." He says, "You will get surprised." And he put it that away. But about a week later, he brought something else out to the job. I'm like, "Wow, they got you as delivery man and salesman?" He says, "No, I just decided to bring this one out." And he walked to the cab of the truck, 18 wheeler, and grabbed a plastic bag, and it had a Carhartt jacket in it. And it was a Carhartt meant for Denver, Colorado. And it had the company name, the rental company name, and it was a zip up. And I mean, a nice Carhartt, man. I'm like, "Thank you, thank you." And sure enough, that first winter I was in Tucson, it surprised me. I did need that jacket.
Oh
Not
yeah,
really, because I, stay in the office or the building that was being built, and I would have been out of the weather. But it did come in handy.
hey Donnie, how you doing? Thank you for stopping in, buddy. Yeah, when I was a diesel mechanic, we used to get all kinds of stuff. I had Detroit stuff, I had Cat stuff, I had Cummings stuff, and everybody trying to sell you something. I used to get all kinds of Schaefer's hats and stuff like that. I still got a few of them hanging up on the wall. It's just uh, I hats and stuff don't do it for me anymore. I mean, it's nice that they'll give them to me. I mean, but
yeah.
give me.
I mean, I've had companies try to sell me their product. I said, I ain't gonna be your free advertisements all over the damn country. But I said, if you're gonna be a free advertiser, then you need to give me the jacket, not sell me the jacket.
Right.
Yeah, I don't mind wearing the stuff that we use, like my Schaefer's hat, my Napa stuff. You know, um,
No,
the stuff that I use and I stand behind. I don't mind that, but um, O'Reilly's come in. They were trying to get our business about a year or so ago, and it was a woman they sent in. Not a bad looking little thing, but I mean, she had hats and this and that and all kinds of other stuff. And, I'm like, okay, thank you. And like the next month when she come in, she's like, "You're still wearing that old dirty Napa hat." I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I got to keep your hat nice and clean. I wear it when I'm out and about." No, not
Mm-hmm.
really. I gave it to one of the other guys.
mm, I got companies I work for. I got their jackets and I'm still wearing them, but I mean, but they're warm enough and they're water resistant. I mean, they ain't waterproof, but they're water resistant. And so if I'm out in the yard, out going to town or whatever else, I'll throw that something on. I, I mean, I worked 10 years for that daggone company. And all I got was a few jackets and a couple safety things, but
All right.
little odd and then $2 knickknacks. But
Ain't that surprising, Kane? You paid $200 to advertise from Milwaukee.
yeah,
I can remember when I used to deal with Snap on. I could barely squeeze a hat out of the guy. I'd spend $1,500, couple $1,000, with them, and I'm like, what about a hat? Oh, they're like $35 or something like that. And I'm like, I just spent a couple $1,000 with you, and it's not on credit. It's here's $1,500. Give me my tools.
but that's what it was with Freightliner. I mean, I
Man,
bought
he should have gave you a jacket
I,
and some boots.
I mean I got a daggum. I bought a $50,000 used Freightliner, but
Good.
they wouldn't even give me they wouldn't even give me a hat.
Yeah, when I made the big tool
Yeah.
purchase of the Snap-on stuff, they should have given me a hat, gloves, jacket, shoes, all that kind of stuff, because that was another purchase that was just here's what I want, bring it, and we wrote them a check for it. Yeah, Kane, exactly. Now I didn't mind that dealer when I was working at the truck garage. He was a pretty cool dude. He would hook us up with stuff every once in a while, when they get, extra promotional stuff, little flashlights and calendars and all that kind of stuff. But the one where I work at now, I more than likely, if I was allowed to carry a gun at work, I might cap him in the kneecap, because we'll put it this way: if the man's teeth are on fire, I don't have to go to the bathroom.
We used to use for day labor. The other superintendent, they used to use I forget what it was called, Manpower, American Manpower, or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I used Telemore, and they are a temp staff service company.
Mm-hmm.
They screen their workers. They don't want no crackheads,
Right.
alcoholics, people that's going to go on lunch and come back drunk. So I used Terramore, and then they would bring us donuts. All the time. Now we had a coffee maker in there with a company that supplied our coffee, all that. Anyway, we made our own coffee, so they wouldn't bring us coffee. That Manpower or whatever, one of the agents came over and talked to the other superintendent about why we using Telemore, why I was using Telemore, because they said, well, y'all got a contract with us. And no, we don't. We have a contract with you, yes, to use your workers, and your contract stipulates that we can't hire one of your workers unless we go through you and pay you, so we can hire your worker. Telemore is actually a good company, and if Boudreaux wants to use Telemore, he can. That's his option. He's the superintendent for this company. He can do what he wants, with whatever companies we deal with. And boy, that girl got mad. Oh man, she got mad. And I told the Telemore girl that story. And she came over on a motorcycle one day, and her bag, she had a Road King Harley. And in her bags, travel bags on the back of her Road King, she come out and with not one, but two boxes of specialty donuts. One box of glaze and the other box is all specialty stuff. And I just want to thank y'all for using our company. And that other company never brought us the first donut or nothing ever.
The company that our grounds department uses to buy their paint and paint field supplies and stuff like that, athletic field supplies. When he comes in and gives them like cups like these,
Oh, yeah.
he gives them all them kind of cups and hats and all, it's usually winter hats and some work gloves and stuff like that. Jokingly, I said, "Hey, man, I got to maintain all that stuff. How about hooking a brother up?"
Yeah.
He did. He actually went out to his truck and come back in, and he had like 4 or 5. He asked me what size gloves I wore. I said, "Well, 2X or 3X, preferably 3X." He said, "Really?" He said, "Right, nobody wears it. I can't get rid of these 3X gloves." He'd come back in with like 6 pair of 3X mechanics gloves.
Hi, Lucian.
I think I got 2 or 3 of these tumblers that are in blue. He gave me a couple ball hats because he said, "You don't wear winter hats." I said, "No." He gave me ball hats. I mean, he had a whole box full of stuff. He said, "You know what?" He goes, "I never even thought about the mechanic." He said, "From now on, every place I go, the mechanics are going to get stuff too because they got to maintain all the paint machines and stuff."
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ed.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
You've had a uniform,
No, I'm not. I got my new uniform.
Yes, you are. Where's the Napa hat?
Oh, it's here.
Right there.
Trust me, it's here. It's right there. It's like
Hey, Jeff.
Laying right next to the Santa's hat.
Yeah,
Hey, Mater, how you doing?
Hey, Cajun.
Hey, made it.
Well, first time through, he was a flyby.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. As soon as it went up, the screen just went blank.
Yeah, we thought you were saying bye early.
I'm like, Jeff taking an early out or what? He said he was putting overtime in last night on Marks.
Yeah,
He taking it away from me.
Hey, and the last 2 nights, he's actually told us he was leaving, so we could all say bye to him. So, I mean,
Dang, Ken.
So now we're gonna see see if he can go 3 nights in a row.
Ken's going to be
Don't
working.
don't push it
for
now.
that.
Don't push it.
Ken.
Hey, can you
Hey.
either go to the corner or buy some chickens? One of the two. Start selling some eggs.
Go to Home Depot, Lowe's. There's a big joke about somebody at the Lowe's, I think it is. Landscaping work. They hang around Lowe's by the
Hey, Ben.
contractor part of it, and they want jobs. They actually trying to hire themselves out. Hey, man, I'll work for you. I'll work. I forget where that started at. If that's Jehu or I forgot.
Hey, Brandon.
Well, you ain't working for me because I ain't hiring you.
Well,
Hey, Brandon.
I don't know. Ken is kind of cute.
Speaking of hookers, though, Brandon, when I went to check in on Brandon's live stream last night, he had his booty stuck up in the air right at the down camera. So, I guess it was the Brandon stripper show. I guess I don't know.
Missy told me, she said, "I think Brandon's live or something." I was already working on some electronics and I was knee deep into it, so I didn't want to get out of it. I didn't want to lose my spot.
I made the mistake instead of staying at my computer and just waiting for Brandon. I went and sat in my chair and I kicked the video on. And when I reawoke, I went back and looked at because I had a YouTube video on. When I looked back at my history, it was 2 hours and 45 minutes later.
Wow.
So
I did forget about it though. Missy reminded me, but like I said, I was knee deep in this radio and I didn't want to lose my spot.
Hey, Small Town Machine Shop. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in.
How you doing, Adam? I'll be back in a minute.
All right, we'll be here. But yeah, so like I was saying, we had an issue with our new to us skid steer. So they're gonna, and I've already, of course, I YouTubed to see if anybody else is having these issues, and yes, they are having the issues. And the salesman come up and looked at it, and he was rambling on about, well, you got to do this and you got to do that, and that's the only way you can get this off, and blah blah blah. And but they're
What
going to
kind of
send a tech up beginning of this coming week here, and let him take care of it.
what kind of skid steer?
Cat
Really?
3 or 2, Cat 236 or something like that.
Two.
It's
Wait a
it's a
minute,
really
299 and 289 and 279, 263, I think.
then maybe it's 263. I can't remember the numbers.
Little itty bitty one.
It's not real itty bitty. No, it's mid sized. It'll load our dump truck and stuff. So
Oh, it's got to be like a 279 or 289 then.
looked kind of sketchy on the plow I showed. Hey, wasn't nothing sketchy about that welding. She burning well. For
What
being
was
rusty.
sketchy was that chintzy electric motor to turn that thing.
Yeah, those actuators. That is the weak spot on those Toro snow brushes. And to buy that actuator from Toro, which I checked like 3 years ago, I think. Somebody told me they're not available any longer, but I think when I checked 3 years ago, they were like $1,200 or $1,500 for that thing.
Oh,
And at that point in time, we had already went through 4 of them in a winter. Now I used to get them on. I found them on eBay. The ones I was buying was actually boat hatch power, lifts. They were takeoffs because they were switching them from the electric motors to hydraulics. They were brand new. These guys were upfitters for yachts and stuff like that.
yeah.
And I think I paid $150 or $180 for them. But then I found them through our bearing distributor, and they're like $300 and some dollars, and it's the exact thing that you buy from Toro. It's the same brand, same name, same everything.
Yeah.
And Toro just marks them that far up because they know that you have to have them. So
It's like opening up the Granger book to that page there. You can buy them, but Granger is just like Snap-on. You're paying for the name.
well, actually, I looked in Granger, I looked in McMaster Kerr, I looked at a couple other places. Nobody stocks them or nobody carries them. But our bearing distributor, BDI is who we use. They were an actual dealer for the brand. They didn't stock that particular one, but it was like 3 days and they could get them for me. So, but knock on wood, in the last 2 years, we've only went through 2. And that was brand new operators running them.
Yeah. Well, Toro sounds like it's kind of like Cat. Cat's got everything on Cat. I mean, even the damn filters won't. The aftermarket filters don't work. You got to go buy Cat filters to make.
Yep.
To actually change everything to make it actually run right.
National Baron didn't have that.
Have what?
Yeah, the Barons or whatever you needed.
The actuator? Yeah, BDI or Barron's Direct Incorporated. That's they're a dealer for that manufacturer. They can get them, but I just wanted to check with Toro to see what they were costing. But our Ventrek tractors that have the rotary brush on them, now their cores, the brush itself, are proprietary to them. You can't buy them aftermarket anyplace. And I bought 2 of them this past summer in July for this coming winter because I knew there was going to be a price jump, and I wanted to make sure we were going to be able to get them. They went from $965 to $1,200 a piece. We get about one season out of them. So now our Toros have individual wafers, and I buy those through.
Hey, buddy.
I can't remember what the name of the brush company is now that I get them through, but I can buy enough to recore 3 of our brushes, 3 of the Toro brushes, for the price of one of those Ventrex. Now it's a lot quicker to change the Ventrex because you just a couple bolts, the thing comes out, and you slide the new one in, bolt it back up, and you're done. Where the Toros, you got to tear it apart, take the core out of it, take all the old ones off, put all new ones on, and
I'm not getting up, so either come over here or don't.
don't be lazy.
Oh, he makes a pain of himself. He wants to be petted, but he'll walk away. He'll walk halfway up the side of the bed and then sit down and wait.
What's the actuator for, Ed?
It angles the snow brush from left to right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, true, Scott. But they still run them things, even if it's just a dusting. They still go out and sweep them and make sure. And then if we get ice, they'll go out and salt the sidewalks. And once the salt breaks up the ice, they'll go clean that ice off and slush and stuff off. So, but I did get the okay to get a quote for a brand new Ventrex to put on capital improvements for next year. So,
Oh boy,
whether they'll approve it or not, I don't know. But I need to know real quick if they're going to approve it or not to get my order in, because the last fall when I was talking to the salesman, they said that they were 9 to 12 months out back. Hey, Rox, what's happening? Thank you for stopping in, man.
I know when my brother got the Ventrex where he was, they love this thing.
Oh yeah, they're nice tractors. I like my old Toro. I've been running it for 20 years. I've ran the Ventrex. It's hard to get used to the articulating style instead of the rear steer, because the Toro's a rear steer. It's hard for me to get get down. I'm sure if I start running one on a regular basis, I know the heaters are a lot better in the Ventrex. Hey, Ken, how you doing, bud?
Around the guy's garage. I seen you come in a while ago, but didn't have time to.
I remember when the state here bought them first couple of Ventrex they had them with the mowers. Mm-hmm. They would take them out with the big tractors, and they wouldn't even take them off the trailer. They left them sit on the trailer there while they were running the big tractors and stuff.
Yeah. We got hey, Arch's Garage. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in. We've got one mower deck. We've got a core aerifier. We've got 2 snow blowers, 2 V plows, 2 Buffalo turbine blowers, and 3 snow brushes to go with the 3 tractors. So, and those
I got a snow blower and its plow.
The snow blower that goes on them things, it will throw some. I actually had to make an adapter thing on the chute because it has a power chute for how far it throws it. I had to make an extension for them to angle that thing down so it'll drop it, like 10 foot past the sidewalk, because it was shooting it out so far. We were afraid that, because we go up close to some buildings. We were afraid
you don't want to be blowing windows out.
Exactly. We were afraid if we'd pick a rock or something up, or a bottle or something like that, it would shoot it through a window. So
you can hit your supervisor at long distance with one of those, right?
Yeah. Well, what we use those more for is like if we get like a week's worth of snow, those brushes will only throw the snow so far back off the sidewalks. Well, once you get a berm along the sidewalk, you can't throw it over the top of them. So we have them set for their like 6 inches off the ground or 4
All
inches
right,
off the
sit
ground,
down. Go on,
they actually
let's
get
sit
off
down.
the sidewalk and go along the side of the sidewalk and scrape that snow up and throw it way back in the yards and stuff, and throw it, back enough that the brushes can throw it. But last year we bought 2 V plows so we cleaned the football fields with it, and we never had to clean the football one. Well, I think we had to clean it once. They took them V plows out and put them in like a scoop mode and was pushing the snow back off the sidewalks. And they like doing that a whole lot better than running that snowblower. So, but yeah, they approved the bosses approved today. Let's get another quote, get one, fully, and they're letting me spec it out instead of the grounds guy, because the last time when he spec'd it out, it didn't come with a 12-volt kit for the front. For the there's a actuator out there that you can actually make the brush spin forward or backwards. The newest one we got's a fixed rotation. You can't turn it around backwards. But we needed the 12-volt system for our Buffalo blowers to make the chute on it spin. It wasn't on there. What else? There's something else they didn't get too. I can't remember what it is now. But so my boss said, you call the salesman, you spec it out, you can know exactly what we need. You get it, and we'll, that way we're not scrambling all the snow, the salt spreader. They ordered a salt spreader with it, but never had them install it. So I had to do all the wiring and everything to put the salt spreader on it.
That was fun, huh?
It's not that bad actually, and I actually did a better job than what they did on the other two, because the salt spreader is actually designed to be in a back of a pickup truck, so the wires are 25 foot long or whatever, going from the battery to the salt spreader. I actually chopped them off, made them short. Did that with a couple of the other wires that was all coiled up under the seat, everything, and just made a cleaner install than what than what they did. Hey, Roadrunner, what's happening, brother? Thank you for stopping in, man. Appreciate it.
Beep beep, Road Runner.
Hey, Cajun, how's this for radio? One of them Galaxy 949s, are they good?
Is that the one with the expanded bands in them, or the regular CV?
I think it's got the expanded bands.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. Those are just as good as any other one. They still get plagued by the bad solder joints and stuff like that, but they got power in them. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Just the 949 you said?
Yeah.
I
believe that's what it was, 949.
It's probably the HV or HD, probably the high power model.
But Ed, I guess somebody get mad with the boss man though. They riding one of them doggone snowblowers could really mess up his day and bury his truck, right?
Yeah. Well, they tried to use them to move snow piles from the snow plows. Them things are so hard, compact, and they couldn't dig into them. And they had one of the grounds guys he can operate our wheel loader, but he's not proficient at it. He knows how to run it, and he parked it like at break time or something like that. And I asked him, I said, so you gonna do our parking lot down here? Oh, when I get to it, I got so much to do up on campus. I said, oh, okay. So while he was in at break, I jumped in it, and I'm out there, I'm running the thing. The one carpenter's like, he goes, I thought you were gonna roll that thing backwards. He goes, that back weight was touching the ground. I'm like, so you gotta push it up over top the hard stuff,
Yeah.
And the ground supervisor come out, and I didn't know he was watching me. And he's like, what do you got going on the rest of the afternoon? I'm like, nothing. And really, I said, we did snow this morning, but I said I wasn't really into this. Is last year. I said nothing really. He said, how would you feel about going up and moving piles? I said, as soon as I get down here, he's like, okay. So I moved all the piles down at our shop back about 20 some feet. And then I went up on campus and moved a bunch of piles. And the younger guy that was running it before, he wasn't real happy with me. And I'm
Well,
like,
it sucks for him, huh?
yeah. I said, dude, I've been running equipment for, 35 years, I said, you just takes a little bit of practice and everything. He goes, well, I would never do it. I'd never get up on them piles like that. I'm like,
Why not?
You got to roll the stuff back up over the top. You can't push the whole pile. Well, I just go in and pick a bucket load up and go forward and just dump. So all you're doing is stacking it up. I said, you got to get up. You got to run that plow up make a ramp, run it over to the top and keep rolling it back. And then he finally come over and come around and was watching, and I got him in the tractor and was showing him, this is what you got to do. You got to, you can't just go into the pile, pick a scoop up and try to dump it on top. I said, you got to build your ramp, and just keep pushing the stuff over the top until you get it all rolled back. And he was getting it down towards the end of the day and stuff. And I went back and told the ground supervisor, I took that guy's truck back to the shop. I said, yeah, he's up there moving on piles. It's like, whoa. I'm like, dude, I said, I showed him, I said, I took care of it. I showed him what to do. I didn't tell him just jump in it and, like you did, tell him go up and move those piles. I said, I showed him how to roll the stuff back and, how not to dig down into the grass, and stuff like that. And a couple of days later, he come back and the ground supervisor did. And he's like, well, I appreciate you showing him how to do that. I'm like, do you want me to show you too? He didn't like that. He's like, well, I don't like that wheel loader. That thing. He wanted to trade our wheel loader in when we got this skid steer, and I told him absolutely not. And I went to my boss and said, I said, I know we need a skid steer. I said, but if it means getting rid of that wheel loader, I said, I'm against it. Nope. I don't want a skid steer. So, and then they asked me why, and I'm like, because there's lots of stuff that we do with that skid steer or that wheel loader that you won't be able to do with a skid steer. If you got to go up on campus and unload a big semi, I said, yeah, you can take that skid steer up. I said, but if it's being used like it's supposed to be being used, it's not going to be available. So, our wheel loader is paid off. It's not costing us money. Why would you want to trade it in?
And the skid steer only picks up so much.
It actually will. It's comparable to our what our wheel loader will load.
Really?
Yeah. Well, with a normal person running it. They sent one of the other guys up to when we had our football field unloaded. They had to unload the rolls of AstroTurf off the semi trailers, and and they were in a box trailer, so you had to pick them up by the end.
Mm-hmm.
And you just put one on a fork and pick it up and move it. And they sent one of the maintenance guys up that knows how to run it, and he called our supervisor and said, no, you're gonna have to rent a bigger machine or something, or get something up here. And I was standing there talking to my supervisor at the time, and he's like, oh, okay, no problem, blah blah blah, I'll make some phone calls. What phone calls? He's like, it's like, oh, they said they can't unload them rolls with our wheel loader, they're too heavy. I was like, you want me to go up and do it? He's like, can you? I said, I unloaded the load before. Went up, stuck it in there. Yeah, it gets a little tippy. You just don't hit the brakes. You don't slam the brakes on. You're just nice and gentle. You pick it up nice and easy, and you back up nice and easy, and you get off the truck and you get it down low to the ground and you move it around. And the guy that was driving was like, oh, that's unsafe. That's unsafe. You're going to hurt somebody. You're going to get hurt. I'm like,
nope.
How am I going to get hurt? The thing's 6 inches off the ground when I'm transporting it. I'm transporting it 50 yards off the truck over onto a pile. So explain to me how, I said, if you want, I said, I'll unload it off the truck and sit it on the ground, come around the side and pick it up from the side. I said, then it won't be too heavy. The rolls aren't too heavy for the machine. It's just that that counterweight sticking out there is what's making it, tippy and stuff. But
That's like that raggy old 920 I was running with the snow pusher 2 years ago. A 16-foot snow pusher, one of them Arctics.
mm-hmm.
It was a great pusher, but it was way too heavy for that loader. It's like you picked it up, and the back end you could sit there with your finger and just spin the back end back and forth, and the snow pusher would still be on the ground.
Oh yeah, we got a box scraper for our wheel loader.
Yeah,
and the arch that can be it too. The issue he was having was the back wheels would come off the ground, but he was being real jerky with it. When he'd back up, he would like gas it, and it would tip, or he'd be going forward and hit the brakes, and it would tip, and want to rock and roll. But if you just lift it up, and just be gentle and ease, have some finesse. You don't have to roughneck everything when you're doing it. But when we first got that box scraper, the guy that was running it, he ran box scrapers and stuff before. He got a little big for his britches, and he got a little too big a pile of snow in front of it, and kind of lost traction in the middle of a parking lot. And he wasn't real happy. He had to back up and start knocking small chunks of it away, and throw it, push it, and he's more embarrassed than anything. He was Joe Hotshot running that big box scraper around, and until he got a big old chunk in front of him, and all four wheels were just sitting there spinning.
That's like they used to do to me down in front of ShopRite. This guy in a pickup, rather than go back and forth across the whole park lot and push it so far and then start another row, he would sit there on each row of cars. He'd go like the parking spot on this side, he'd push it this way and then go around and push it this way. So it's like I had all these strips going straight down in a pile. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Well,
and the boss come in there one day and he's seen him. It's like he just wigged out because he had the big mason dump, and he just dropped the plow and just started whipping back and forth. And after about 15 minutes, he had the park lot 3/4 of the way done. He's like, pulled up to this guy. He's like, "That's how I want it plowed."
Hey, Gleason.
About 15 years ago, we had a young guy come in, and he was all, Joe know-it-all, run all piece of equipment, everything else, and I've plowed for years, snow plowed for years, and we've got a couple big parking lots, and they have like parking along the outside edges, and then parking, like double pull-in parking up through the middle. And I happen to be down around that area running my snow brush.
Hey, Missy.
And he was doing what I had coined the term NASCAR plowing. He was going around in a circle. He started in at the cars and went around in a circle and pushed it all out to the outside edges, and then thought he could go along and push it.
Nope, didn't work that way.
No. He got in a little bit of trouble for that because we're in there at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and he had a whole bunch of parking spots blocked. That he was trying to dig out, and ended up having to take the wheel loader up and move all that stuff before people started parking in there. And that was the last time he NASCAR plowed. I really wish I would have had a camera that day. That was funny as heck, because he wasn't even stopping at the end of the aisles. He was just going around and around and around. He made like 6 passes around. And then he thought he was going to clean it up and, push it out into the corners. And once that stuff gets packed and hard and sits there for a few minutes, you ain't moving it till you scrape it. So he learned real quick.
Jeff, I looked up your model number of the radio you were talking about, and It's like I said the first time. It's a regular CB radio. There's no nothing,
Oh, okay.
no channels, no lowers, no uppers.
No, I just seen the number. I didn't even look at the thing.
Yeah, but it's not worth it for a $250 radio. Or
No.
no.
But that young man was also the one that got his snowplow hung up on a pile. We had been plowing on and off for a few days and had some real hard pack stuff. And I mean, he was pushing up on the pile like you're supposed to, but he got his front tires over top of that first plowing and got hung up.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was back when we had radios. We didn't use our cell phones. We used radios to communicate back and forth. And
Yeah, so everybody knew about it then.
well, at first he's like he called one of the other plow guys. Hey, can you come down here and give me a hand in this lot? Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I can come down and give me 10, 15 minutes. I'll be down.
Oh, bring a pull strap with you, please, sir.
They all have toe straps in them.
Oh, okay.
Next thing I know, the guy that he called is calling a supervisor. Hey, can you come down here? So I kind of made my way around the brush, thinking things broke down, maybe broke the plow off or something. Nope, he's up on that pile. The front wheels are hooked over the ice pile that was there, and his tow hitch is sitting on the ground. He didn't have enough down pressure on the back tires to get any kind of traction, and one plow truck wasn't strong enough to drag that hitch back because he drug the hitch for like 2.5 feet. You could see the marks in the pavement, and
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, y'all both are gonna have to hook onto him, and hopefully you don't do the slingshot on the
Right.
surface and hit it. So, but
I did something like that back in '97 when we had that real big, like 30 in the department size front apartments where the curb was for the parking lot. As soon as you hit the curb, you had to stop, and I was trying to push out far enough where I could just keep pushing the snow out because it's like it went out probably a foot on the other side of the curb and dropped straight down. Well, that fucking loader, them front wheels started going straight down.
well, we've had guys run that wheel loader, and they get up on them piles, and they think they're stuck and call for a tow to pull them back or whatever. And I go down and I'll show you how to get that thing out of there. Just put the bucket down and push down, and then lay your bucket flat, and it'll push you right back. It'll lift your front wheels up, but when you roll that bucket, like you're scooping, it'll push you right backwards. And they're like, "Oh wow, I never even thought about that."
That was the whole problem I had. There was nothing. That was the problem I had with that day. I was sweating it out because there's actually nothing over the bank there. I had the bucket laying down flat. It's like every time I tried to, push down enough to get the front wheels come up almost to the curb there, it would just keep pushing down a little at a time. So I was sitting there, I was turning it to the side and trying to pull snow over from both sides. I finally got it back. It's like, I ain't doing that again. I'll just run longwise across the curb now. Whatever's at the end of the lot is going to stay there.
Well, the reason the supervisor now for the grounds department didn't really like our wheel loader is because he got our wheel loader stuck one day, and he called me on my cell phone. He was embarrassed because he hadn't been there but a couple months, and asked if I could come up with a truck and help him get out. And I went up and did the same trick, put the bucket straight down, push down, and roll back. And I finally got it worked up out of the hole. And he says it's too heavy for the square footage that it has. The pads, the wheels are too. The machine itself is too heavy to be wheeled. They wanted tracks. It has to be tracks. Thanks, Gears and Wheels. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Pumpkin. Oh, she told me
Gears and Wheels. I watched your video on doing that CV shaft. that was a pretty good trick with the rotor and hub, using it as a slide hammer.
Rotor in the hub as a slide
Thank you,
hammer.
miss.
Something like my
Oh,
situation on my Jeep.
He was replacing the CV joint
Good little
on a Ranger, and
Four-wheel drive.
yeah, and to get the CV axle out of the transmission, instead of getting back here and prying, he just loosened the nut up on the end of the CV shaft and used it as a slide hammer.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, hang out.
That was a pretty good idea. I don't think it'll work on a car because you got to unbolt that hub. But the way he took it apart, he had that whole hub and rotor assembly.
Yeah. What the thing with my Jeep is Johnny, he was trying to get that hub off out of the assembly, and it wouldn't come. The CV axle from the four-wheel drive came out just like that. Slicker than owl shit. But it was the hub itself that was giving Johnny the problem.
Right. The only thing that on any CV axle, no matter what it's on, I always make sure that little snap ring is on the old axle when I pull it out. And the only reason that is because a buddy of mine works for a dealership, got in a hurry, pulled one out, and that ring had broke and fell into the transmission. He pulled the old one out, threw it off to the side, slapped the new one in, slapped everything back together, and it ate a transmission.
Wow.
So he ever since that happened, I always make sure that ring comes out with the axle.
That don't sound like fun.
No, it's not. But they're easy enough to do. It's just I've never had one that didn't have the snap ring or whatever you call that little ring on the end of it. I've never had one not come out with it. But I always check, and he don't know whether it was already broke and had fell out or whatever. But when they checked the axle or checked on it, the transmission, I guess there was chunks of that ring down in there. So yeah, yep. Well, I seen you look at it when you pulled it out. Subconsciously you eyeballed it. It just I do the same thing a lot of times when I'm working on stuff and trying to explain it to somebody. It's hard to remember every little nuance that you have to tell somebody that's never done them before. What to look for and what not to look for, and stuff like that. Like I said, I've done enough of them now. It's just kind of subconscious. When I pull it out, I automatically just look at it when it's there and just throw it off to the side and slap your new one in.
Found a place to run the garden plow this spring.
Oh, you're going to a plow days?
Yeah, well they run one. The antique guys up here, they run one, and they're running it this one. It's not far from my house. It's only like 4 miles away, I think. He's got a farm, and they ran it there last year. And I was talking to him today. I asked him, I says, any place that anybody does garden tractor pulls, or not pulls, but the plow days? He's like, well, we got ours coming up. I said, what are you doing it this year? My place. He says, well, you got that little tractor, right? I says, yeah. I said, I got 2 of them. I got a plow for the one. He said, well, put the plow on and bring it over. I'll tell you when we're going to do the plow day.
Awesome.
Well, if you want to just practice plowing out, Jeff, I got a place down here you can come plow.
All right, you're more than welcome to come up here and pick it up and take it down there for me then.
That's how I was thinking too.
I got, I need a place plowed up for my garden out here. So if you
I'll
want to come
plow it
down
out, but you
and
got to bring it there.
Daryl, there you go. What you can do is, Mark has that rototiller on his.
yeah,
You can hire Mark, but tell him you want it plowed first, then run the rototiller over to break up the clumps. So he'll have to go get Jeff, and both of them will come down.
yeah.
You know, Daryl, you're missing out on the best part of it. They make, down here at least, they make a 3-foot tiller, okay? Just like you pull with a tractor with a PTO, okay? But you pull it with your four-wheeler. You pull it with your four-wheeler. It's got a gas engine on it. And
Yeah.
they got them at the rental places. It's got a gas engine. You engage it and you set it up like a regular tiller or what have you.
Well,
And you pull it with your four-wheeler ATV.
I got a tractor out of here too. I ain't got no plows for it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking
No,
about.
I'm not
getting
talking about a
one.
plow. I'm talking about a tiller. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a harrow, not a disc harrow or anything. I mean, a actual tiller.
Oh, I got the plow. I got the double disc set.
Oh,
I
there
was
you go.
thinking about. I was looking for a little bit. I was thinking about doing that there, Cage, and getting like one of them tillers, and just making mounts where I could put on a 3-point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can
See,
put,
Jeff,
yeah,
you need to come
they
up
make
and get
tillers
that
for
bowl and
3-point.
block behind that guy.
Now the double disc set you're talking about, that's the ones you pull with it. That's a row hipper, correct? That's what you're talking about?
No, it's a regular set of discs.
Okay, two
What you're
on each
talking about
side.
is on a toolbar, which I got that too. Is a hiller. It's called a hiller.
Yeah, hiller, row
it's
hipper,
about the-
or a chopper. You could chop with them also, but
Yeah.
yeah, you can, but you can plow with them, but you chop with them. But actually, we call them row hippers or choppers down here.
Yeah.
And they already set up. You can set them on like on a 3-point toolbar,
Yeah.
or on like an old Cub Cadet, like me and Randy used to have. We had that toolbar on the back, 2-inch toolbar, and we had 2 sets of choppers. All our tools went on that toolbar in the back because them old Farmall Super A's,
Yep.
those Super A tractors, and we had the high row Super A, high row, high crop, and all our tools were on that. Plus, we had the belly bars, the belly toolbars.
Yeah.
That's some work.
I've got a one bottom plow for a Cub. I've got the cultivators. They go in the middle.
Yeah, the sights. We call them sights. Yeah.
I've got those, and I've got I think the spring tooth. I think there's a set of spring tooth that go in the middle there too for a Cub.
Yeah. Oh, we had 2, but they went on the back.
See, I mean, I would go get me one of those things like Ed was talking about there, but around here, if I had that, I would. Everybody and his brother want me to do it for free. So
yeah,
I mean,
Oh, it's just like if you own a pickup truck and your neighbors will try and ask you to move them or go get a piece of plywood or go get the same idea.
yeah. I got it. The bad part is I got that 16x7 trailer out there. And everybody and his brother wants to use it. But I tell you, all I got to do is tell them I can go out there and clean it out, and then you can use it.
yeah. Take everything off of it, organize it, organize it real good,
and repack it when you get done with it.
Yeah.
Later, Patrick. Thank you for stopping in, and hope your girl's doing well. And it's almost to our hour. We can't let Jeff get no overtime. Everybody say goodbye to Jeff. You were overtime last night on Mark's. We don't want to
I'm not getting paid on that one. This one here, I'm getting paid.
Okay.
I
Okay.
Oh,
So, but
I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm getting paid.
but yeah, it is our hour, and like as always, I got to get my stuff ready for work in the morning. One of these days, I'm gonna get it ready before my live stream, but you know. So, anyways, appreciate y'all coming in. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Really good chat tonight, and we will catch you all next Friday night on Daryl's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And y'all take it easy until then.
Good night,
Okie dokie
everybody.
later.
all right, everybody. It's good being north of the grass. Be safe. Stay that way. Stay safe. Be that way. And as always, love, peace, and crackling grease. Catch y'all later. Pluto.